Evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. There was something that gave me a good laugh just as we were coming up to the end of the day, and that something was dealing with a query that came into the mailboxes of what I was doing. It turns out one of these people that somebody had asked had said they'd done a search of my profile thingy, and so they apparently I left the business. Apparently. You know, so here I am having a joke with myself and even joke with the boss saying if I'm not in tomorrow, I've left the business. But of course you didn't come here to find out about my potential early departure, or the fake one I should say. No, I wanted to talk today about Kier Tool Starmer again, because there's something quite fundamental that needs to be talked about. And that is the fact that Kier Tool Starmer has recently scrapped the Rwanda policy and the barges. Now, why is this significant? Well, it's because basically what's going on is that these things were housing loads of migrants, illegal or otherwise, in those boats. People who had no legal or human right to be here. Now that this has been scrapped, the boats will be scrapped literally, and then what's the Prime Minister going to do? He's going to get the indigenous British people to house these people, the illegal immigrants. Now, much as I am loath to give any kind of credit to the Tory party, at least there was potential for a little something to be done with the Rwanda policy. All it needed was a leader who actually has the balls, whether up here or down there, or in my case both, to actually enforce it or put it through. It's just a shame that Rishi the Slippery Sunak had as much spunk as a cat that has been castrated. But I digress. The fact that Kier the Tool Starmer is trying to get us to house these illegal immigrants who have no legal or human right to be here is downright disgusting. But I'll tell you one thing, if we must take these people, I'll tell you who a good person to start off would be. If I can get the words out, I'll tell you who a good person to start off with would be. Gary Lineker. He was always preaching to us people that we should house these people. How about you take some now, Gary Lineker? Put your money where your mouth is, Lineker. Take some of these illegal immigrants into your house, and let's see how they integrate into your household. Of course he won't, though. Let's face it, he would rather not house these barbaric individuals, a lot of them, people mostly from third world shitholes who want to come over here and basically loot, pillage and steal. And of course the other thing, which YouTube might cancel me for, let's just say it involves a lot of rigorous under the belt activity, if you catch my drift. Or should I be saying below the belt? But hey ho. The truth is on the matter though, it is completely unreasonable for Kier the Tool Starmer to ask British people to house these illegal immigrants who, as I've said, have no legal or human right to be here. And before some NPC comes out and says, but they're asylum seekers. No, they're not asylum seekers. If they truly were, they would have claimed asylum in the first safe country they got to, which is international, or the very least, EU law. But of course the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me, it doesn't suit the narrative. While I accept that Rishi the Slippery Sunak should have had the balls to fully enact out the Rwanda policy, at the end of the day, Kier the Tool Starmer, as I said he would, is going to sink our country 10 times faster, and not because we're on a barge. Like, it is a direct insult to the British people to ask us to house them. It is a direct insult to 17.4 million Brexiteers who voted for Brexit with the whole purpose of regaining our sovereignty, controlling our borders, and ensuring we aren't run by unelected bureaucrats in Brussels. And remember, folks, Kier Tool Starmer got in on the lowest turnout of voters in voting history, while the Brexit vote was done with the highest turnout of voters in electoral history. But what I find particularly egregious, which Nigel Farage has quite rightly pointed out, is their language manipulation. Instead of calling it illegal immigration, they're now calling it irregular immigration. No. Kier Tool Starmer, this is not irregular migration. This is very fucking frequent migration. We are seeing illegal immigrants crossing daily over to our shores, who are given free housing, free benefits, mobile phones. And of course, there's also this thing that always worried me, which admittedly, this next point is speculation. But there are rumours, of course, that there are people who are supplying people in these hotels with weapons. Now, what does that say? If this is true, then it shows that not only is Britain allowing illegal immigrants into this country scot-free and housing them on benefits, they're potentially arming them for civil war, which is something, of course, the mainstream media do not want to talk about. The mere idea alone that this is a possibility, let alone a reality, is very, very scary indeed. It should scare anybody with even a quarter of a brain cell. And remember, the migrants they're letting in, take a look at what happened in Hare Hill, Leeds. Look how they overturned vehicles, set buses on fire, how they told natives in their own fucking town that they're not welcome there anymore. Their own people of their own damn town told, basically, piss off, this is our streets now. These 5th century barbarians and foreign invaders have no right to claim something that isn't theirs. Last time I checked, Britain is our country. Therefore, these people, even if you could use the term guests, which, let me tell you, you can't, because they are barbaric, death cult motherfuckers, these people would be expected to abide by our rules. Much like if I went to Spain again, or Las Vegas again, I probably need a bit more money though, because I probably would spend more on slot machines. Anyway, if I was to go to Spain or Las Vegas, I would be expected to follow America or Spain's rules, their beliefs, their laws. I would not be expected to, I don't know, clamber to the gates and rip them down, flip the car over and set it on fire, or damage buildings. I'd be expected to be respectful. This is just basic common sense. What ideally your parents should be teaching you when you're growing up as a kid, no matter what country you're in. Unfortunately, what we see is a lot of fighting age men coming over to this country illegally, who basically spit at our customs, spit in our faces, and think that they rule the roost. Well, no. This is Britain. This is our country. And you will abide by our rules. And if you don't want to abide by our rules, you can fuck right off back on the first plane or the first boat that we have back to your home country. Because why should we be expected to house people who are going to assault our police officers, destroy our property, violate our women, assault our officers, no matter how good or bad they may be, and basically try to claim a caliphate in this country? Because let's face it, a lot of these Middle Easterns are predominantly from Islam. These are the people Kier the Tool Starmer wants us to house. Well, I'll tell you one thing. If they decide to come over to my council, and then the council comes to me and says, you need to accommodate these illegals, I'll tell them straight away to fuck right off, because there is no way I am giving up my house, no matter whether it's a council flat or a £1 million mansion. There is no way in hell I am giving up my house for illegals that have no legal or human right to be here. And I'm certainly not going to live with one of them. Let me tell you, I have no obligation to these people. I would have the same level of obligation to these people as I would if I was faced with serving time with the enemy. I would sooner put a revolver in my mouth and blow my head off. It's not happening. More importantly, I would fight this tooth and nail. I would kick up a stink like you wouldn't believe. I would kick up so much of a stink, it would make the Chernobyl incident look like a picnic. Like I said, this is our country, and anybody who enters this country is expected to abide by our laws, by our customs, and respect our beliefs. If you don't want to respect our beliefs, we don't want you. If you don't want to respect our laws, we don't want you. If you want to come along and basically expect a free pass and not contribute anything to our society, we don't want you. What Kier the Tool Starmer needs to be doing is calling this migration for what it is. Illegal immigration, not irregular, illegal. And he needs to say, we are closing the borders. 5 words that will make all the difference for this country. Close the fucking borders. We need to take out the trash before we can start bringing in more people who actually have the skills that we want. All of these foreign criminals that are coming over here, send them straight back to their country of origin. We don't want them. We have no obligation to them. And terrorists like Andrew Chowdhury, like I said, send the fuckers straight to Guantanamo Bay. Again, we don't want these people. We don't want parasites to the taxpayers' money. We want people, if we're going to have any at all, who are going to be a net benefit, a net positive to this country. And right now, a lot of these illegals, because that's what, as I said, the vast majority of them are a massive net negative to this country. So let's take out the trash, place it in the dustbin or dumpster of history, and let's close the borders so we can sort out our own mess before we can go out of our way to help others. Because after all, how are you supposed to help other people if you yourself cannot even stand on your own 2 feet? Ask yourselves that question. This is why I have this standby belief that I will always be on, will never back down from, and any of these NPCs who want to come out and say, but we have a humanitarian obligation to these people, no we fucking don't, bluntly speaking. If it was women and children, by all means I'd say, yeah, let's take them. But let's face it, we're not going to get the women and children. What we're going to get is the fighting age men who are intolerant of our culture and our society, who want to do nothing but either be a parasite to our resources or commit crime here. Because they know we're a soft touch. If you really want to make a difference, Kier the Tool Starmer, what we need to be doing is we need to be turning the boats back. All of them. Turn the boats back. Close the borders. Because here's the thing. The reason why these smugglers, the people smugglers, are getting money is there are people who are willing to pay that cost to get on a dinghy that is barely seaworthy to come over here for a slice of benefits Britain, much akin to the American pie. Of course, this is something the mainstream media will not tell you. That's what it boils down to, though. They are getting the money from people who know they will get a substantially better life in the United Kingdom, and will spend money. They will pay through the fucking nose just to get to this country. But what happens if we turn the boats back? Well, all of a sudden, people are no longer going to go to the people smugglers, because they're not going to pay for the money to get into a dinghy. They're not going to want to pay them to get on these boats, because they know the boats will be sent straight back. That's the cold, bitter truth of all of this. As soon as we do that, just like that, this shit ends. Because the people smugglers will now have to find something else to do, because they won't be getting their 2 to 3 million euros a week by having some poor saps risk their life to get over the French Channel to come over to our country. Because they know, as said, the boats will be turned back. Australia did this exact same thing. Look what happened. The boats stopped coming. That's how you're going to solve the issue. If you want to stop the boats, you need to turn them back. And better still, once they're put back on the French shores, stab the dinghies, cut the boats. That way they can't use them to get back, which will be another further net loss for the people smugglers. That's how you're going to deal with this, because that is the only reliable way we're going to stop the boats. When they start realizing they're not going to be welcome here and that their boats are going to be slashed, oh, they'll stop real quick. I guarantee that. But it's a matter of, does Kier Starmer have the balls to do it? I suspect not, because he is a socialist wanker. This is the kind of shit he wants. Cheap labour for businesses. Net migration, so that he can destroy the cultures that we've set, so he can import the third world shitholes into our country. He wants these guys in to replace old Whitey for his DEI box-ticking bullshit. This is why we have to oppose him. This is why we need to stop traitors like Kier the Tool Starmer, and we need to take out the trash if he's not willing to do so himself. Why else are you seeing the riots in Ireland? They are expected, as a smaller island no less, no pun intended, to Great Britain, to house all these illegals, when they shouldn't even be taking a fraction of what they're getting right now. The people are pissed up in that place because they realise what's going on. Their country, as they know it, is being decayed, eroded, destroyed because of illegal immigration. It's the same here in the United Kingdom. And until we send that message that if you try to come via this route, you will no longer be welcomed, this is going to keep continuing. This is going to keep on going, and the people smugglers are going to get rich off the back of this. They could literally buy fucking Ferraris up the wazoo with the money they're getting, quite frankly. We need to put a stop to that. We need to put a stop to illegal immigration, and we need to stop Kier the Tool Starmer from wrecking our country. On the 27th of July, it'll be my civic duty to be down there in Trafalgar Square and outside the Royal Courts of Justice, because at the end of the day, I realise how important this day is. I have got alternate plans set up right now, so it's definitely happening. It's just not happening the way I originally foresaw it, that's all. And I can say this much free of charge. I will keep fighting this fight, because we have to keep fighting. The way this country dies is, as Tommy Robinson said, it happens through apathy. And I sure as shit am not going to grow apathetic any day of the week, any day of the fucking year, in the next 50 years. Even when I'm sitting in a care home, potentially, and eating nothing but friggin' toast or something, I will still be fighting. because I realise how important this is for our generation, our children and our children's children. I don't want them growing up in a third world shithole that these bastards from their own third world shitholes have created. I want them to be able to grow up, have a bright future, and be able to enjoy their lives. But that won't happen until we do that one thing that is so important. Turn the boats back, take out the trash, and fix our problems inside the country before we start importing people we need, not these incompetent NPC jihadis and extremist migrants that basically want to destroy this country.